Nerds, what's up? It's Mason, and I got another haul for you in the way of Omnibus hardcovers, absolute editions, all that good stuff. These are my pickups for the month of May. A pretty good stack of books. A couple of these I get from instocktrades.com, where you can go to get those deep discounts. And I got a couple others on some other venues too, so thanks a lot for checking me out. Let's rock and roll. First, I'll share an omnibus that I picked up, which was the Astonishing XMen by Joss Whedon and John Cassidy. Pretty thin omnibus, collecting Astonishing XMen 1 through 24 and giant size Astonishing XMen number 1, so about 26 issues. I had lots of fun with this book, moved by super quick. This is the run that follows Grant Morrison's new X-Men. So after enjoying that, I thought I'd go ahead with this. This was a much anticipated reprint of 2020, considering the first printing is out of print. So I was glad to get a chance to own this in omnibus format and just continue with the my modern X-Ren journey. And eventually I'll be brave enough to venture into the Bronze and perhaps Silver Age X-Men. So yeah, as I said, really enjoyed this one. I thought that the new X-Men, in comparison, gave you a lot more to chew on. Obviously, there's a lot more issues in that one, but and it kind of goes along with some Marvel comics these days, where there can be issues where there's several pages with no dialogue, if not only 2 or 3 dialogue bubbles. So obviously, you can get through some issues in like 5 minutes. So it's just kind of a contrast. You know, some of us complain about old comics being too wordy, but sometimes, you know, the newer ones, it's like they're not wordy enough. It would have been frustrating to collect them in single issues, I think. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. So I guess it just, sometimes it depends on the writer, and when it comes to things being too wordy or not wordy enough. When I talk about books from Silver or Bronze Age being too wordy and intimidating, sometimes the wordiness, in my opinion, it's just a lot of filler. It's a lot of stuff that we don't need to know, and it can be annoying. But it depends on your preferences, of course. But, there's contrast on both sides. But anyway, this was a fun book, though. All right, next, one that I've been waiting for like 2 years, man. Finally got it. Absolute Day Tripper. Yeah. This is by Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba from the DC Black Label line. Oh, yeah. So it has a slipcover. Get it. That's how it looks. Oh, yeah. I did read it, and it was a 10 out of 10 book. I had high expectations for it, and it pretty much met those expectations. Spoiler alert, this book is basically a 10-issue story, and at the end of every issue, the main character dies. So it just explores the different ways he dies, and obviously how that affects his life and the lives of those that he cares about around him. So very philosophical. Glad to finally check it out in a nice oversized format. And I think that even if you don't want to get the absolute format, it's, whatever format you can find it in, I do consider it a must read for comic fans. Quick, fun read, great artwork, loved it. Next, one that's been on my want list for a while, just waiting on the right deal. I picked up Deadpool Max. This is an oversized hardcover. Almost thick enough to be an omnibus, but just, not quite long enough, if that makes sense. All right. So it collects Deadpool Max 1 through 12 and Deadpool Max 2 1 through 6. This has a $34.99 cover price. It's a little bit out of print. You can usually find it for around cover price, if not a little bit more. I think mine was like 35 plus shipping. The one that I found on eBay. I was bidding on one that was like sealed, brand new, and I think I didn't want to pay more than 40 or something, and it went to 50. So I was like, ugh. And then I picked up this one, and it was just fine. So it's just one, you know, depends on what you want to spend on it. You might have to wait a little bit. You know, there's some buy it nows for over $100, you know, for a brand new one. So just, I don't know, depends on what you want. But one of my collecting goals is to have every Deadpool issue in oversized hardcover or oversized format, as long as it's out there. So every omnibus, which I already have, and all the mini buses, which I'm catching up on. And then I think this is like the only other oversized that's not, you know, in an omnibus or something. So happy to have it. I remember I have read that one a long time ago, and it was a real fun story. More explicit than most Deadpool. And speaking of explicit, another set that's been on my want list for a long time is the Faust. So these are trade paperbacks, formerly known as Faust Communion. So each little paperback collects 3 acts. So we got acts 1 through 3. And what's this? 4 through 6. Oh shit. I got them all backwards. This is 1 through 3. This is 4 through 6. Oh yeah. Awesome artwork in these. Really cool character. And this is acts 7 through 9. So I believe there's acts 10 through 12 in the last trade paperback, which was not included in this set that I scored at an eBay auction. So that one, fingers crossed, maybe eventually I can get it. I don't know. I might just have to pick up the single issues to finish the story. But read these, and they were lots of fun, very intense, and you know, very original, unique. Probably not for everybody, considering your tastes when it comes to mature content, because you know, I like Garth Ennis a lot, but even these books kind of made Garth Ennis look a little pale. I really love some of the artwork. It's black and gray, and so here's kind of a big splash of the Faust character, but every other page in here is almost pornography, if not borderline pornography, so can't show too much. But I need to check out that movie, the movie for Faust as well. But I was inspired to check these out. There's a few collectors that I like to follow, and I usually take a lot of recommendations and inspirations from them, and I've always heard them talk about Faust, and it always looked cool, but hard to find in a collected format. So it was on my eBay save searches for a long time, and finally found them. So glad to have them. All right, couple more books, couple of baddie books. I picked up a new release, the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Just a nice standard size hardcover. This book was a lot of fun. Of course, I loved 1 and 2, so had to keep her going with some fun Batman Turtles. This was kind of a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of story. Different universes with, like in one universe, Batman is in the same universe with the Turtles, and like when his parents died, he was taken care of by Splinter. So like the Turtles and the Batman grew up together, and it kind of twists off into different aspects of that. So that was fun, and just really great artwork. It's a small 6-issue series. Yeah, see, Crisis. Yeah, so fun little book. Glad to pick up. Of course, still by James Tynion IV. And the last one, I picked up some DVDs on eBay, and they had the same seller had a Batman book that I'd never read, and it was only like a few bucks, so I wanted to check it out. It's Batman Night Cries by Archie Goodwin, Scott Hampton. It's basically a graphic novel. It's not like a collection of single issues. but thought I'd give it a shot. It was a pretty sad story, I guess. It's kind of about child abuse, but sometimes we expect the dark and emotional tales in Batman stories. Really cool painted style artwork. Some of it kind of reminded me of Arkham Asylum artwork, but just, you know, a story that you can sit down and read in one sitting, and you know how Batman deals with some of the darker issues of Gotham City. So yeah, fun book, a nice humble stack of books for May, and more to come, of course. If I didn't mention it at first, I did move, so the background has changed a little bit, but everything's good. And I also wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Frank Fulci. He's got a YouTube channel where he shares DVDs and music pickups, mostly horror related. He's got a birthday coming up. I believe it's on Sunday. So happy birthday to him. And of course, shouting him out as well, because I still buy books, but I've also been buying a lot more like Blu-rays, DVDs, and it's got me back into collecting those again. So I've had a lot of fun with that. I've been watching a lot of great movies. So just a shout out to him. I've thought about sharing some on here, but I think I'll just stick mostly to sharing them on my Instagram, which is at PuffPuffComics, and he's also at Repulsive Reviews on Instagram. So as always, thank you guys for checking me out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.